Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to discover the undiscoverable, to find the unfindable, to conceive the unconceivable. Bro, we're getting into the entire lore of the Backrooms. So, for those of you that are unfamiliar with the Backrooms, okay? The Backrooms is a analog horror series that's very scary, apparently. And it's on YouTube. It's crazy. Everyone and their mother has covered it. Recently, the actual Backrooms room was actually found, which is so freaking cool. They found the fucking room that the original picture was taken in. But the Backrooms all started here with this video made by Kane Pixels. The Backrooms found footage, and it's just a really creepy infinite loop horror shit in this really creepy basement that kind of looks like my basement after I pissed on the floor and the carpet, as I tend to do. So today we're diving into the lore. As you know, I, Lord Nuxanor, will consume all lore ever. I will consume all the lore. You may not like to know this, but it is true. I will consume all lore. And right now, Backrooms lore is what we're going through. This is an entire freaking story, apparently. It goes crazy. We're going back to the ages when MatPat hasn't left us to watch porn or something that he's doing now. That's my headcanon, is what he's doing now. But, let's see. Whole lore of the Backroom. The only thing I know about it is that it's like this endless basement that smells a little like piss. That is literally all the knowledge I have. This is the 100% blind reaction to the entire lore of the Backrooms. Oh my god! Oh god. It's actually spooky. The lore! I miss MatPat so much! To show you the lore! Oh man. Alright, well, listen, dude, this is just how I imagine my chat actually sounds every time I'm like, alright guys, lore dive into this little franchise, little known thing. None of you probably heard of it. It's called Warhammer 40K. This will probably take us about, what, a day or two to cover all the lore? Meanwhile, there's 400 novels. Alright, well, that's what we're diving into. We will consume all lore. If you want to know lore about everything in existence, consider subscribing.
Hello, Internet! Welcome to Film Theory, the show that knows that going onto YouTube can be like no clipping into the Backrooms.
True.
You're minding your own business when suddenly it's days later and you have no idea how you've watched so many Padlock reviews.
What?
A very, very beefy and very robust lock.
I love how MatPat's type of content that he watches on YouTube is literally the least problematic content of all time. You have fucking me watching on YouTube. It's like, oh, hell yeah. Murdering pedophiles in public video compilation? Oh, yeah. Give it to me. Yeah, and then you have him in Padlock reviews. We are literally not the same. We are, like, literally not the same.
Would you look at the shackle on that baby? Shout out to lockpicking lawyer,
Bro,
by
what the fuck? This man's never watched porn, so here he is getting off the padlocks.
way, for teaching me way more about locks than I thought a human brain could consume. Anyway, today we're returning to the mono yellow walls.
That's me with lore. I will consume all lore!
And ceaseless hum-buzzing fluorescence of the Backrooms. In case you need to catch up, the Backrooms
I do.
is an
I know nothing about it. I am literally here blind. All I know is that it's a piss-colored room that goes on forever.
analog horror series here on YouTube.com created by indie filmmaker Kane Pixels. The initial video Kane uploaded in January of 2022 absolutely exploded in
Jeebus Fleebus. This got big.
popularity, gaining over 43 million views and becoming the 7th most watched video on YouTube of the entire year.
That's crazy. Yo, I knew it was big. I didn't realize it was this big.
All thanks to its unique atmosphere, clever scares, and fantastic production quality. It was also built for theorists like us, filled to the brim with awesome ideas and hidden lore for us to decode. In
That's why we're here, baby. That's why we're here. We are here to consume all lore.
fact, towards the end of the year, Steph and I even gave Kane Pixels a Streamy Award to honor him for all his incredible work.
Aw, that's awesome.
This is a box that was delivered to my house.
So, Kane Pixels, here. Did I just no clip into the Backrooms?
Dude, I love how he does that with the serious face. He's like a fully grown man.
Kane Pixels, here.
Dude, look at how serious his face is when he says this line.
Did I just no clip into the Backrooms?
He literally looks like my dad. Did I just skibbity riz that toilet? It's like, oh god. Yeah, oh dude. Did he just skibbity Biden? Dude, you have to see this. This gave off the exact same energy as the skibbity Biden. Okay, you're all listening to me, and it sounds like I'm a complete raving madman lunatic, but I'm gonna show this to you, and you are going to change your mind. Dude, just look at this. Just look at this, and tell me it's not the same energy.
Skibbity Biden.
Skibbity Biden. Skibbity Biden.
You should know, this was actually on his show. Dude, what was his name? The 9/11 of television. This is actually on Skibbity Colbert. Stephen Colbert, actual talk show host, says this.
Skibbity Biden.
Just look at him say it. It's insane. This is like him saying, did I just no clip into the back rooms?
Kane, I went to the back rooms, and I got you this.
I'm just so
I got back shots and went to the back rooms and
honored to be accepting this. So I guess really the only thing I can say right now is thank you.
But now, here we are, 1 year
All
later
right,
from
all
that
right.
initial upload.
All
now
right.
with a story that spans 4 decades of time and 15 videos.
4 decades? There's an actual story to the back rooms? I thought it was just this creepy space that people disappeared into.
Plus a few secret videos mixed in. The community has come up with a ton of ideas to explain this thing.
right.
Everything from alternative realities colliding to
Makes
the
sense.
back rooms being an incarnation of the ancient Egyptian afterlife. Our running theory here is that the world that we see in the back rooms is some sort of
One of your going theories is ancient Egyptian afterlife? Okay, I did not need all of this lore.
simulation, like a giant video game or the Matrix. What we know of as the real world is the topmost layer of that simulation. But below the surface, there's an infinite procedurally generated world of unused and cut content.
Interesting. So in the universe of the backrooms, we are actually living in some sort of matrix, right? Actually living in a matrix, and beneath the backrooms is the fucking shadow realm over here. And that's this. So if you ever no clip, you know how sometimes you'll play a video game and you'll glitch out of the map or something? So the glitching out of the map drops you into this. Not that it takes you from the real world to some fucking horror dimension, but that you are already in a video game without knowing it, and you'll no clip just out of the video game into just endless labyrinthian unused data. All right, I like this theory.
Stuff that either didn't fit or just wasn't good enough to make the cut for the real world.
But it didn't make a cut, bro. It's just a giant, empty, piss-stained hallway.
And while I still believe that to be the case, today I wanted to take a step back and reset.
What?
The Backrooms is a tricky series to talk about. Nothing is presented in chronological order, and things tend to jump back and forth in time with some...
I love how indie horror on YouTube and analog horror on YouTube is just like, all right, so we're gonna tell you a story that's relatively dark, except it's all out of order, so you will have no idea what you're watching. Oh, God.
Earlier videos referencing events from later videos that haven't technically happened yet. Heck, the very first video that Kane ever uploaded is currently one of the last ones in the timeline. So
That's awesome, dude. Honestly, props to you for coming up with the whole thing before releasing the first episode. That's just great. Dude, is it
today
just
I
me?
wanted to do something a little different.
Is it just me, or does this look like the Pokemon Blazefalon? All right, listen. I know that I'm preparing myself mentally until we do the Pokemon lore dive, which is coming soon. We will be doing the insane Pokemon lore dive, all the anime, all the manga, everything. Obviously not watching all of it and stuff, but we will be diving into it. But this looks like Blazefalon. I'm just saying, it's the same guy. Either that or XQC, if he was drawn by what's it called? Meat Canyon's XQC. Oh.
Uploaded is currently one of the last ones in the timeline. So today, I wanted to do something a little different. I wanted to sit down and make a definitive timeline of exactly what's happened and when.
Yes!
So we can get ourselves a clear overview
That's
of
what we're here
everything that's
for.
going on in this giant mystery that Kane's
is what we're
crafted.
here
And in doing
for.
this, and seeing what fits where, and more importantly, what doesn't fit where, we'll be
Dude.
able to learn.
I do not understand what is wrong with my computer. It's like every second time I stream, it just starts crapping out.
Seeing what fits where, and more importantly, what doesn't fit where, we'll be able to learn a lot more about this story. Spoiler alert, friends, there appears to be a massive time loop we're dealing with, and we might just be witnessing the collapse of an entire universe. Jump in!
I'm ready. The whole timeline, all the lore, downloading it into my brain. We finished Lovecraft, so I am so ready for this.
Into those hazmat suits and hold on to the red guideline, friends. We're going in. The very first event that we see
The red guideline? So is that a thing? People that would go into the back rooms, they haul a rope so they can find their way out?
in the series actually comes from the most recent upload as I'm writing this script, Overflow. This video takes place on August
Overflow? You know, there's a really good critically acclaimed anime that goes by that exact title. Not that Matt Pet would know.
7th, 1972, as we can see thanks to the signature of a man named Ivan Beck. Over the course of this 2-minute video, we also hear a radio broadcast about the Lend-Lease Agreement, which
This is your lovely radio broadcast.
Let's begin. I'll make you wish that I stayed gone. Come on in. Let's have fun.
happened between the United States and USSR in, you guessed it, 1972.
Oh my god, what a coincidence, am I right? Hey, what a coinkydink. Alright, so this all starts in 1972 apparently, this clipping into the No Backrooms canon.
We watch as an electrical or radio station is overtaken by a green glow that shakes everything violently before suddenly cutting to black. Remember that green light? It's gonna be important for us later.
There's no way he uses the green light as a basis for his theory.
The video ends with the night sky now mirror reflected. Something in this universe has fundamentally changed.
That's so sick. There is an actual glitch in the actual Matrix, because in this world, in this theory, the entire world is a simulation of some sort. People are starting to clip into the backrooms. You're gonna probably find anomalies and glitches in your actual real world. The whole world is gonna start looking like Cyberpunk 2077.
From there, we fast forward by about a decade to the early 1980s, when a Central California-based company called Async begins researching electromagnetism. On May 10th, 1982, we see one such test of a strange electromagnetic device in the video Prototype. Over the next several years, Async would refine this prototype into Project KV-31, otherwise known as the Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System.
I preferred the other name. So, but what is this doing? What is this relevant? How is this relevant to the backrooms?
On July 2nd, 1988, Async performs a failed third test of the system, but it's their sixth test that really matters. On October 17th, 1989 at 5:04 p.m. Pacific, they power up the system one more time and successfully open a portal to the backrooms.
Oh. Obviously by accident, right? Obviously by accident. Okay, I'm starting to see where this is going. By playing with this electromagnetic fuckery, it actually fucks with the Matrix mainframe that is running the entire world. So they basically found a glitch. By activating some sort of electromagnetic current, they found a glitch in the actual Matrix that unlocked the backrooms to the public.
They have made first contact. However, this move has dire consequences. 5:04 p.m. was the exact time of a real-world magnitude 6.9 earthquake that hit California, killing 63 and injuring thousands more.
Damn.
All of this is confirmed.
I mean, it's California, so, you know, whatever.
In archival
That was a joke! That was a joke!
Footage found in the secret video collateral.mov.
Okay, so first contact and collateral.mov happened at the same time. Opening this thing into the backrooms actually did cause an earthquake that killed people in California, which is on the other end of the world, right? Because this happens in Australia. So this happens in Australia, and here in California, 60 people die from an earthquake and this collateral damage from opening the actual thing to the backrooms. And I guess the earthquake is the actual mainframe that is the world starts actually shaking.
And that's not the worst of it. From that point forward,
like they are ruining the fabric of space, because space is only taking, if this is all just a simulation of some sort, then opening up a gateway to the backrooms, which is like the unused extra fucking content that's not in the actual game, just like a fucking labyrinthian shadow realm just outside of what's accessible in the greater game, let's say. If they could actually open that, they're literally ripping through the fabric of physical space.
The world is just glitched. Small, unseen portals into and out of the back room start popping up everywhere.
Because they opened it and they glitched the mainframe. That's so dope!
People begin no-clipping through reality, never to be seen again. Starting in October...
And you show up in the back rooms, just like how when you clip through a wall in a video game, you end up in... You know you're playing Fortnite? You're just walking around and all of a sudden you zoom out of the stream and you screen and you're just walking and floating around in space. That's the backrooms, except real life is Fortnite, because this is a simulation in this canon. It's like the Amazing Digital Circus, except a lot less amazing and a lot more digital.
Of 1989, the number of missing persons reports skyrockets. This is confirmed in the video titled Missing Persons. Obvious video title is obvious. We soon learn that some of these portals are even big enough for entire cars to...
Ah! Bro just flooped right out of there! Oh my glob!
Obvious video title is obvious. We soon learn that some of these portals are even big enough for entire cars to slip through.
Right? It's unreality. You just clip out of reality.
Like we see in a secret, undated video that must come from around the same period. Meanwhile, back in the lab, Async begins to send in research teams. On February 3rd of 1990, they begin their first mission.
So this is the Australian team that actually opened up this portal into the backrooms that are sending people in.
Inside the backrooms, this team of scientists discover the body of Nicholas Bolton, one of the people called
Nicholas Bolton? He's one of the motherfuckers that planned the Red Wedding.
out as having gone missing. Fun fact, the picture used for Bolton here is actually the senior photograph of Nathan Barnett, who
That's insane. What?
you might recognize as Dad from one
Oh my God, that is crazy.
of my other favorite creepy YouTube series that we've covered here on the channel several times. Go figure, it's almost like subscribing to this channel is a great way to learn about all the coolest series that you should be watching right now.
That was a, you know, I can't even be mad. That was a really smooth plug. What the fuck? Okay. All right, well, if you like lore and you want to consume all lore, come here. Lord Nuxanor is here for you.
Just a random thought that popped into my head, but
And the good news is, when I die, there will probably be an AI to just take over and continue consuming lore. So this is just great news for everyone.
you know, the subscribe button is down below this video.
All
in case
right,
you wanna
brother.
use it.
Oh, okay.
Interestingly, Nicholas's body is covered in what appears to be some sort of
Jizz.
black moldy growth. 2
Nah, it's not my jizz.
days later, on February 5th, in the video autopsy report, the medical report on Bolton's body shows that it contains a mutant strain of Hay bacillus bacteria, which is slowing decay of some parts of the body while completely overtaking others. The coroner questions Async about where they found this thing.
Yeah, they went to a regular coroner. They found this guy in some alternate dimension covered in black sludge, and they just bring him up to a random coroner, and they're like, hey, what's the cause of death on this guy? And the guy's just like, wait a second. What the fuck? I don't understand. They're like, oh, no, you don't understand. It was Nyarlathotep that did this. It wasn't us.
May I ask where this subject came from?
Oh, he came from, the void.
Which Async must not have liked. During this video, a bunch of images flash across a CRT television, including one that states contract termination. Originally, I thought that this was a contract termination between Async and the US government, but I actually found a wider, clearer version.
So you think that the US government needs a contract to take over your shit?
Of this exact image in a trailer that Kane uploaded back when the Backrooms was just a school project. And the version of that document reads employment contract termination. So I'm guessing
He's covered in black sludge. It's causing some of the body to rot and some of the body to remain unrotted in this really weird way. Can you explain where did you find him? We found him in Florida. Never mind, I understand. It all makes sense now. That's all you needed to say.
guessing that the doctor started asking too many questions and was let go as a result.
Let go, like let go into the public? Because that doesn't sound very US-y, right? It kind of sounds more likely,
Next up on our timeline is February 29th, 1990, and the upload informational video. Here we see Async send in another group of scientists.
All right, let's
this
go.
is also the first appearance of actual named living characters. In the group, we have Marvin Lee and the camera operator Peter Tench. During their mission, Tench gets distracted by voices coming from an unseen party in a nearby hallway. He separates from the group
No! You never separate from the group in an alternate dimension. What the fuck, man?
briefly to investigate, but almost immediately he's met with a glitch that makes the rest of the team disappear.
Hey guys, do you hear this? Hey.
Without knowing it,
Yo! So, right, if we're watching from his perspective, everyone else glitched away.
Peter has jumped forward in time. We're gonna rejoin him in a minute. But
Okay, all right. Because here's the thing, because think about it, right? Let's try to understand this theory a little bit better. If this is a Matrix theory, and the Backrooms is actually taking place in a world that is simulation, and the backroom is all the unused shit, then technically, time is a simulation as well. In this universe, space isn't real, as we know. You could glitch through solid objects and shit if there's like a bug of some sort. However, time is also just invented by this Matrix. So therefore, in the Backrooms, which is all the unused, uncut shit, glitching through time makes sense, because this would not exist in the real world, because this is unused content. There's literally no point to this content because it's broken. It's the broken content. That's why it was not integrated into the world, which is canon, let's say.
Back to the rest of the team. From Async's perspective, Peter's team didn't disappear. Peter
did.
He just
Yeah, you're looking at it from his perspective. So from his perspective, it looks like everything else is gone.
vanished into thin air, and so the rest presumably returned to headquarters to report his disappearance. We see the fallout of Peter going missing less than a week later, March 5th, 1990, in the video Motion Detected. Freaked out by an employee disappearing with no explanation, Async.
That's how you know it's the Australian government, not the United States government. If it was the United States government, they'd be like, whatever. It's just a Peter.
Creates a new enclosed control room just on the other side of the Backrooms portal. They also rig up motion sensing cameras near the entrance to track everything that's coming and going throughout the space.
Dude, it does look fucking creepy, right?
And it's a good thing they did too, because that night at 3:53 a.m., they capture the image of a dark, blobby shape moving across the ceiling. We don't know it yet at this point.
What?
In the timeline, but later we're gonna learn that this is likely a black, gooey monster made of a mutant strain of bacteria.
I don't like any of those words that he just said. I didn't like the gooey one, the strain of bacteria one. Didn't like any of that.
Very same bacteria that infected Nicholas Bolton. We know this because
we got that.
Kane has posted a picture of the creature on his Ko-Fi account.
Yo, look at these images, the upside down guy.
Labeled bacteria. We are definitely gonna see more from that guy.
Oh my god, look at that thing. That is creepy.
Later in the timeline.
Dude, liminal spaces are so fucking cool.
A little over 2 months later, on May.
Can't wait for someone to be a whistleblower of all this. See how he does well. It's like, I was just on a Boeing plane. Instantly dies.
6th, 1990, another group of explorers are sent into the backrooms in the video Pitfall.
I would not want to be any of those guys. The last guy that went in there vanished.
This team consists of an unnamed woman, 2 men named Mark and George, and
Wow! Mark, George, and an unnamed woman. Dude, this is the patriarchy. Right here, brother. Oh my god. How did they get away with this?
Marvin Lee, now
Dude, we have all their names. Every single guy that walks in, we know their name, except for the one unnamed woman.
manning the camera. The party comes across a strange room with several holes in the floor and a door across the gap. One of the men carefully crosses the expanse, opens the door, and discovers a greenish glow. Instead of
oh god, it's the same greenish glow that was on the photo in the first one.
just saying what he sees, he calls over to Marvin to record it.
Marvin, get the camera over here.
Across?
Just hurry.
But as Marvin tries to cross the room, he falls into one of the holes.
How do you do? No, you're literally in the fucking shadow realm. Oh my god.
To a lower level of the back rooms. There, he discovers an underground neighborhood complete with trees and houses and
that is so cool. Dude, so the back rooms, they're the patch framework that is around the world. That's just the patch notes. This is an entire, probably partially developed society of some sort that was supposed to be in the Matrix, right? But they never actually put it in. They never used this neighborhood. It was never canon, so therefore it remains on just a lower level of the back rooms, which, according to our understanding of it, is just unused Matrixian content.
and streetlights. But things are just a little bit off here. Houses are built strangely. Signs are mirror reversed. Deep inside one of the houses, Marvin finds a room where someone's clearly
Oh, that's Sneeko's chair.
been living, but whoever was there, they're gone now. When he hears a voice that's crying out, he goes to investigate, only to be met with another bacteria monster.
Oh god, get away, get away, get away from the black coom.
This one chasing Marvin back to the hole that he fell into.
That is not a person!
Thankfully,
That's creepy as shit. That is not a person. That is not a person. Jeebus, Phlebus, actual chills.
monster. This one chasing Marvin back to the hole that he fell into.
That is not a person!
Thankfully, Marvin's team's able to pull him back to safety and he escapes. The next video report takes place immediately afterwards, with the team returning to Async's
It's the gamers, they back!
headquarters and sharing what Marvin found. This clearly concerns the Async staff, but because of the important upcoming presentation with the US government, they decide to just paper over the issue for the short term.
Listen, we have a meeting with the US government, so we're just gonna paper over this issue. That's freaky as shit. You don't paper over that, man.
Makeshift wall is constructed, sealing off the pitfalls area for the time being as
They built a wall in the back rooms so that when they show it to the US government, they can't show any, like, really inexplicable shit.
further fortify their control room. 2 days later, on May 8th, 1990, we get the upload presentation, where Async hosts several government officials to pitch them A-Space, their vision for the backrooms, an infinite storage and living solution. And they're just pitching to any old US government officials. Notice the DOE watermark. These are representatives from the Department of Energy, including this guy right
Yeah, America! They went in... They will build a wall, and they will make the black Ku monster pay for that wall.
Here, who looks a lot like James Watkins, the real-world Secretary of Energy from this time period. During a video glitch back in Pitfalls, we see reverse text that reads, "to deceive the Fede," which likely extrapolates out to deceive the federal government. I'm betting that this is text of some sort of internal memo at async, worrying about
These assholes.
deceiving the DOE during these negotiations. Regardless of any concern, though, the presentation goes well. We see async talking to the DOE about contracts afterwards.
I love it's like, yes, what are you talking about the United States government about? Contracts, capitalism, contracts, capitalism, building walls, they love building walls.
One scientist confirms in a secret video that everything went according to plan.
Actually, that went perfectly. We've got all the initial signatures, and the contract should be executed by next week.
Except,
All right, what are these contracts for? Think about it, though. They opened this portal into fucking, I don't know, the backrooms. They literally unlocked the Shadow Realm. Now they're trying to get contracts with the US government. For what? What contracts? Why do they need contracts? Shouldn't the world know about this? Shouldn't they just tell everyone that they possibly can about all this so that they can properly discover what's going on? This is a matter not of just, you know, Australian interest or importance. This is, the entire world is a simulation. They are all living in a fake reality.
there was something that didn't go quite according to plan that day. Remember Peter Tench, the async researcher?
I remember Peter Tench. He's the guy that disappeared. He jumped into the future.
Glitched out and disappeared. Well, after witnessing his squad disappearing into thin air, Peter tried his best to get back to Async's headquarters without any sort of guideline. And he finds all sorts of weird stuff on his little adventure, including a section of wall removed to reveal a secret area with forest print wallpaper, farm equipment, and the facade of a house.
Yo, he kept finding shit in the back rooms. He kept wandering in a literal endless fucking bloodborne hellscape. Just walking forever, finding whatever, literally everywhere. And what, oh dude, that's crazy. He kept finding just random unused content for the real world.
Eventually, Peter's able to make his way back to the backroom's exit, discovering
How do you find it?
the new control room that Async built after his disappearance. He's able to open it with his keycard, but it sets off a motion sensing alarm inside at the exact same time that Async is in contract negotiations with the DOE. We straight up see Peter in the Async control room from a security camera's perspective in the
Yo, that is crazy! Wild coincidence.
background. Just so we're all clear about what's exactly happening here, this is over 2 months after Peter disappeared. When he glitched, he actually traveled forward in time.
That's dope. He traveled 2 months into the future. For him, it seemed like he was only wandering the backrooms for hours until he found his way back. Shit, dude.
This really throws Async's leadership for a loop. In the hidden video recording 014, we hear a phone call between an Async researcher and his supervisor, Ivan Beck. Still on the same day, May 8th, 1990.
Wait, hold on. This isn't him, is it?
He's him, bro! He's him! He's just him!
As this conversation continues, the image of a newspaper fades onto screen. When reversed, this headline clearly
Fiery wreck beside Vine leaves one dead.
reads, "Fiery wreck beside Viney leaves one dead." Now, Viney is cut off and could refer to either a
Vineyard?
vineyard where they make
Yeah, that's what I would guess.
wine, or the town of Vineyard near Sacramento in central California. Either
Alright, could be also, right? There was that earthquake in California. This is such a cool concept! Oh god! I love my lore dives. Thank you for enabling me to do my lore dives, guys.
way, we can gather from this headline and the tone of the conversation that
Is bad.
Async believed Peter was dead, and that after he disappeared, they covered it up by staging a car accident so
Oh, that's crazy. They thought he vanished into the backrooms and he was dead. So they literally staged his death so people didn't ask questions. Oh my lord. That sounds some pretty government shit.
Peter's family
Time for Friendly Geordies to make a whole video talking about this.
wouldn't ask any questions. And when Peter realizes what's happened, that he's traveled into the future and that his family thinks that he's dead, probably doesn't react all that well to it. There was likely some conflict with Async's higher-ups, which resulted in Peter either escaping the facility back into the backrooms, or Async just launched him back into the backrooms because he was a security risk.
No shot. Dude, he survived in the backrooms. He glitched into the future. And they execute him. Or just lock him into the backrooms for eternity. Because that would expose the fact that they faked his death. Oh my god. Common Corpo L. Am I right, guys?
One way or another,
Based government. Nux probably. Yo, can you not Nux probably based government? Can you not do that? Dude? No, dude. No. That's awful. That's horrible. How do you do this?
Peter winds up trapped back in the back rooms, which leads us to the next video, Reunion. It's a few weeks later, May 25th, 1990. After Marvin's encounter with the bacteria monster, Async uses a remote control rover to
Based. Based, enough with the humans. Put in a Roomba. Put in a Roomba.
Turn to the pitfalls room.
Please turn in a Roomba because holy shit, this place needs a
Encounter with the bacteria monster.
Dude, do you see this place? It's literally piss-stained everything.
Async uses a remote control rover to return to the pitfalls room and confirm that it's safe. They send more explorers and scientists in, creating a safe walkway to the door on the other side.
They actually build over the pitfalls. The pitfalls are the coolest part.
Of course, we still don't get to see what's behind that door.
Aw, come on!
Async instead decides to send the cameraman Marvin along with Mark and another researcher to
Dude, they all have names except for the one unnamed woman. I'm just saying.
Explore the area around the pitfalls room. Now knowing that there's a dangerous creature that roams through these halls, Mark is armed with a shotgun to...
Are you taking a shotgun? Guy, you're fighting a black blob monster. You're taking a shotgun to fight a gelatinous creature? Oh, God.
protect the group.
Wouldn't want to be on the other end of that.
You wouldn't want to be on the other end of any gun, Marvin.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Haha! Comedy, am I right, guys? This is a comedy series.
Trio head into a new...
You think they'd bring like a flamethrower or something, an EMP grenade, I don't know. Anything but a shotgun.
Area with no ceiling lights and floors made from white concrete epoxy instead of carpets. It's here that they discover evidence that someone's been living in this area. Tiles have been knocked off of the ceiling.
Woo! Right, because all these people that are glitching out of reality, they're all here somewhere.
Seemingly as a trail to follow, and a map has been etched into one of the walls.
That is so cool. It's literally just endless hallways and shit. Of course they're gonna make maps and whatever. And the more people glitch out ever since Australia fuckity-wuckitied with the space-time continuum of this matrix, the more people are glitching in here. Dude, what do they eat? They're all just freaking eating the black goo monsters? Like, come on, guys.
However, before the group can...
It's not a Nux stream if there's no cannibalism.
Really speculate about what's going on, they're ambushed by someone who grabs Mark's shotgun.
Peter?
What?
Marvin?
It's our old friend Peter Tench once again.
Yeah! I have become the master of the backrooms. Bro just literally was camping there, waiting for another party to jump in. Oh my, they should have killed him, bro. Don't throw him back into the backrooms. He obviously survived there for 2 months.
He's been living back here since his escape or banishment from Async.
God.
Peter laments that Async basically took his life from him, asking if they held a funeral for him, if his family thinks that he's dead. The group
Yes, they all think you're dead, which is why they locked you in the backrooms.
confirms that yes, they did hold a funeral.
Oh God, dude.
Everyone thinks he's dead. Async is clearly keeping the fact that Peter Tench is alive secret from basically everyone.
Yeah, because if it turns out he wasn't alive and they faked his death, they're gonna try to figure out why Async faked his death. If they do that, they find the portal into the backrooms and suddenly everyone knows they're living in some sort of weird matrix. And here's the actual Shadow Realm, the infinite IKEA, if you will, down here. And that could cause pandemonium.
Despite being held at gunpoint, Mark calls for backup, only for Peter to shoot him and kill him as the video ends. At this point, we hit
Peter actually killed him, bro. Oh, bye, Mark.
a pretty significant time jump, with the next video being a secret archive video compiled over a year later in June of 1991. Nothing really noteworthy.
Dude, honestly based, Peter. Dude, he was living in the backrooms. He glitched out. He thought he was fucked. He's running around, running away from these crazy goop monsters. They hold a funeral for him, bro. They held a funeral for him. They stole his life. He came back and they put him back in there because, well, he would be a risk at their bullshit discovery becoming more public knowledge.
He happens in it, I'm just including it for completionist's sake. If we want something really
Completionist? What are you gonna do? Scam a charity or something?
interesting though, we jump forward again to
For completionist's sake, we're gonna include every tidbit of lore and then scam a charity.
found footage number 2, taking place on August 19th, 1995. That is
Okay.
over 4 years after the archive video
Okay.
and over 5 since the events of Reunion. In found footage number 2, a girl in
All right. So, we're making progress. Peter's obviously still camping out somewhere in the back rooms, and they're probably just kept searching and researching and searching and found nothing of value because it's fucking void.
a suburban home discovers a small portal into the back rooms hidden in her garage.
Oh my God.
God, it went into the...
After experimenting
It's an actual portal. They found a place that you can clip out of reality. Look at that.
with it for a bit, she's pulled in. Inside
Oh my God. You find this little unreality spot.
God, it went into the...
After experimenting with it for a bit, she's pulled in. Inside the back rooms, she finds
And there's no way out. Oh my god, she just clipped out of reality. Holy shit, that's horrifying.
Finds strange giant furniture, a locked door that she can't open, and perhaps most strangely, a car crashed into a wall.
You know that this is probably the car that clipped out of reality a little bit ago. It showed up here and just crashed into the wall, right? That's probably what happened.
This is clearly a car that no clipped in from the real world.
Right, obviously. And it's an old car, so it probably clipped in here like 10 years ago, right? Because this started happening in 1972, already in like 1990. So this clipped in here by just falling through the floor and just crashed right into this wall, seemingly leaving no dent in the wall, because when the devs that created this Matrix created cars and properties and shit, it made them, you know, destructible. Every single one of them was designed to have a breaking point. This thing has level 15 armor, but since this was never meant to be in reality, it's just unbreakable forever. So obviously the car is not going to leave a dent in the wall.
Strangely, a car crashed into a wall. This is
Or maybe it did.
clearly a car that no clipped in from the real world. Now, I originally thought that this was the car that no clipped
I mean, that looks like a different car, but what's the difference?
off the freeway that we saw in a Secret Numbers video, but Kane confirms that it's actually a different vehicle. Given that Kane also confirmed that the Numbers car wasn't Margaret Watson's car like I previously thought, that means that at least 3 cars have no clipped into the back rooms.
I mean, ultimately, once one did, what's stopping others from doing it as well? It just means that more and more people are going to keep disappearing as long as this anomaly still exists.
If I had a nickel for every time that happened, I mean, I'd have 3 nickels. It's not a lot, but
okay, dude, don't say the meme! He's literally saying the whole meme! If I had a nickel for every time that someone called me a pedophile, I would have like 4 nickels. Which is not a lot, but it's weird that it happened 4 times.
It's weird that it's happened at least 3 times.
Alright, dude.
Anyway, the girl follows a trail of blood from the driver of the car into an area of the back rooms that looks more residential, but she doesn't find a body. Instead, she finds a room overtaken by black vines. These
Okay, creepy. No, but it's weird. That's just Twitter being Twitter. Don't worry, guys. It's not. Don't worry, guys. It's just people being Twitter. Shit, guys.
aren't just any old creepy plants, it's the bacterium.
Obviously, it's venom, fucking venom.
Monster who comes to life and starts chasing the girl. She runs back through everything that she's explored thus far, jumping down into a lower level that resembles indoor swimming pools. Eventually, she winds up.
This is just it's so cool, bro. It's so cool. It's just unused content. For whatever reason, it looks like reality. It's just slightly warped, and therefore it wasn't plugged into reality.
Up at a dead end, but before the monster can get her, the room is engulfed in a strange green light that causes
same green light,
the camera to black out. All of this leads us back.
Oh my god, and we don't know whatever happened to her. Oh, it's actually painful. What a cool freaking... the lore is awesome.
Back to the very first video that Kane uploaded in the series, found footage number 1. In this video, recovered by Async on September 23rd, 1996, we see an indie movie director named Kane filming with his friends before he trips and no clips into the back room.
Oh god, dude. It's so creepy whenever that happens. That is so well done.
After exploring around for a bit, finding weird architecture, items that are completely out of place, and markings left by previous people who no-clipped in, Kane encounters another
it's a goop!
bacteria monster. He runs away, chased by the creature before being cornered and presumably killed. As the monster takes him, his camera falls.
Yo, that is so good. They did such a good job.
Down a hole, no-clipping back out of the back rooms and into the real world. And while that's
but really high up.
The end of the main uploads of the series, there is one final one that I should include in the timeline. The secret upload home to...
Dude, look at how he clips back into reality.
Back out of...
He clips out of the back rooms, back into reality, but very fucking high. You know, sometimes you're playing a video game and you clip to just be really high up and then you die to fall damage. Dude's about to get absolutely ass blasted by fall damage.
The back rooms and into the real world. And while that's the end of the main uploads of the series, there is one final one that I should include in the timeline. The secret upload home27647.mov, which likely takes place during the early 2000s. This is just a home video with some
so this is the most futuristic in the timeline.
Sections and strange imagery, which I'm going to touch on in a moment. How do I know that it takes place in the aughts? Thanks to this frame right here.
That's a new ass computer.
See that TV over on
TV
on the right? This sort of flat screen CRT television with the silver casing was popular back in the early to mid 2000s.
Nice job, Matt Pat. Nicely done.
Meaning that at least part of the video was filmed around that time. So, stepping back and looking at everything laid out here, the main story follows Async's experiments, its employees, and its impact on the world. That much is obvious. But the more important story here seems to be the one that's hidden under the surface. Remember the green light that's popped up a few times over this?
Yeah, and the first one, it showed up again in that creepy door that he wanted him to take a video of. It showed up again when the girl was being chased by the monster.
Series. It appears most prominently towards the end of the timeline in found footage number 2, but remember, it was also the first thing that we see in the series chronologically, right?
And it's also coming out of that door that they've all been trying so hard to get to without falling into those holes in the floor.
Right now. In Overflow, a near identical...
Overflow? There's a really famous anime by that name.
Cool looking...
You should look it up, Mad Pat.
Green light fills whatever station we're in the early 70s. Considering that the building from Overflow shakes pretty darn violently, similar to what we see happening in Async's headquarters during First Contact, I believe that this was some sort of portal opening at least briefly into the Backrooms. And not just any type of portal either, a time portal.
This is where you lose me. I was with you.
And given how similar it looks to what we see surrounding the girl in found footage number 2, I wouldn't be surprised if she or her camera were sent back in time to the early 70s. I know this sounds crazy, but we already are aware that time acts strangely in the Backrooms.
And I think that makes perfect sense. According to this canon that we're in, that everything we're living in is just a simulation of sorts, there's no, of course, time oscillation is going to be something that whatever the devs did, the devs or God or whoever it is, actually obviously put into this canon as well, right? Time is obviously a construct inside of this universe. I just think that makes a hell of a lot of sense. So for the fact that weird time fuckity-wuckity stuff to happen in the Backrooms, that just makes perfect sense from a purely technical perspective, if we're going with the simulation theory, which I think makes sense.
One of the major events of the series is Peter slipping forward in time by several months, so we know that things can be physically transported in time in this universe. We also know that things from the
I don't know if things are transported in time or if time itself just doesn't work well in the Backrooms. Remember, this is unused content. This is the dev room. None of this was ever supposed to be canon. So, like, you know how when you're playing a video game and there's an internal clock in the video game and, it, you know, it's ticking and doing its thing. You're playing fucking Elden Ring and it turns from day to night. Like, a lot of video games have internal clocks. All of time, in reality, if it was actually just a matrix, all of time would be that internal clock that the devs came up with for this reality. It's obviously a joke. You could obviously fast travel, just go into the settings and change the day of the month. You know? So if you clip into the Backrooms, it makes sense that since all of that is just content that should not exist, time is just kind of a joke down there. Obviously, time is just an invention that doesn't necessarily need to follow the rules. Just like creepy black goo monsters, or endless hallways, or creepy freaking things. All that is just unused content. Dude, I love Backrooms lore! The one thing that I'm not sure about is the venom, right? The weird black Taku monsters. I feel like those, I mean, I'm sure he'll end up explaining them. But at this point, it kind of seems like the Taku monsters are kind of like something the devs put into the Backrooms in case someone actually did glitch into the Backrooms, it would take care of them. That's kind of what it looks like at this point. It's like some sort of safety measure. If an NPC gets too close to the sun. The black Taku monsters are probably, you know, the proverbial cane that snapped Gummy Goo out of existence.
Future can intrude in the past. In previous theories, we've discussed how one of the secret videos showed us a cough medicine commercial from the early 2000s interrupting a Simpsons episode that aired in the early 90s.
All right.
That's the downside. Now here's the good part.
We can also hear a news broadcast from 2015 during the Pitfalls video.
Okay, that's cool as shit. Okay, that's so cool. Okay, that's really cool. You hear 2015 commercials in 1906 or whatever, or 1996.
Video that happened 25 years before that
Yo, that's so cool!
broadcast ever aired.
Do you think that your current president, President Castro, will come visit the United States?
That is so well done. Obviously, it's all just going to be a mush of content. Time means nothing in the Backrooms because that's just where the dev team didn't need time to work well.
And that to its logical conclusion, something physically entering the Backrooms and then exiting at some point in the past is entirely possible. Additionally,
absolutely, 100%.
Remember the name on that document from Overflow? Ivan Beck. Kane zooms in real close to make sure that we remember that one real good. Ivan Beck. Now, why does that name sound so familiar?
I'm trying to get hold of my supervisor, Ivan Beck.
Okay, who's this?
Mr. Beck, may I ask where this subject came from?
Yep, Ivan Beck is a high-ranking
guy in the Australian fucking
async official. I think that this girl from Found Footage 2, or at the very least her camera, made it back to the 1970s and into the hands of Ivan Beck.
Actual chills. Literally the ultimate reveal. The reason why they started testing the electromagnetic currents to get into the backrooms was because someone in the backrooms, because of the electromagnetic currents, glitched back in time. It's literally a loop. It's a cycle. It's an actual crazy paradox. Actual time paradox. He only opened the gate because he got the camera. But the reason why he got the camera was because he opened the gate. People went in and the camera glitched out. Actual time paradox. Now, obviously, in reality, how the fuck is that supposed to work? But in a matrix, where time is a construct, of course it makes sense. That's so cool. Love that. Holy shit, that's amazing. God damn, great lore. Oh my god.
And an early async. That could be the whole inciting incident of the series, creating some sort of time loop paradox. Async gets a hold of this footage of the backrooms, which then makes them want to explore it. They open the gateway, which breaks reality, and eventually this girl no-clips in, winding up back in time, starting the loop over. This might even explain the name of the video, Overflow. Time is literally overflowing and running over the edge. What's more, during their
Alright, you know something else that overflows and run over the edge? Whatever the content is of that very, very popular, critically acclaimed, highly accepted, and widely loved anime Overflow, which you should definitely check out if you get the time. MatPat.
Exploration, Async may have just found themselves another time portal. The only other time that we see a greenish glow in the series is behind the door across the room in Pitfalls. And get a load of this. As Marvin is falling down the hole in that video, we see a camera glitch and text hidden within that reads,
"What? That's crazy!"
Quote, while data could be inferred from the readings, nobody knew what would actually be found on the other side.
Okay.
What if what they found was a portal to another time and place? That would certainly fit our description. Either way,
Alright,
whatever
could be, that's cool.
Async is doing, it is bad for the rest of us. One of the stranger moments of the series up until now has
It's very bad for this. Or is it good? I mean, you have to think of it this way. If it turns out that we were living in a matrix, okay? Chat, hear me out. If it turns out we were living in a matrix, would you want to know you were living in a matrix? Or would you like to continue the illusion that your life has meaning and purpose? That is the question. What's better? A wonderful lie or a difficult truth?
Been this extended shot from the very beginning of Reunion, focusing on a coffee cup with the letters MLML and some coordinates on the front. Now at first I thought this might be some Roman numeral, but it's not actually a valid Roman numeral. You can't have MLM as a sequence in
Yeah, obviously not. It has to be MML. Alright, obviously.
Roman numerals. So I opened up our trusty old Google Maps and typed in the coordinates, giving us the rough location of the real world Moss Landing Marine Laboratory.
That's crazy! MLML.
So that solves the MLML
goddamn
mystery. And a bit more digging shows us that this logo is actually a riff on a real one that Moss Landing has used in the past.
That is so cool.
But the ocean messaging doesn't end with MLML. In fact, I believe that we can actually decode the biggest theme of the series based on a video just drowning in ocean metaphors. You may have noticed that I haven't mentioned one of the mainline videos of the Backrooms canon yet. I Remember. Well, that's largely because we don't know where this one slots into the timeline. There's no date associated with it, so there's really no place to put it. In fact, not really sure that the
dude, it's so creepy. Liminal horror is so fucking cool.
Quote-unquote events that take place in this video are literal. The whole thing is just renderings of important places and people to the Async and Backrooms lore, angled and reflected like Inception or Doctor Strange, all as a voiceover narration reads a poetic passage. It's more of an artistic piece, really, but
it's like, you know, in Lovecraft, and he has like a lot of books and short stories, but he also has his poems, and you actually learn the most about the lore of the Lovecraftian mythos through his poetry instead of through his actual books. That's kind of what this is vibing.
Is considered part of the Backrooms canon. And here's the thing. The voiceover also has an ocean theme, just like that MLML reference. Just listen to what
does the ocean have to do with this? Guess the endless depths of the ocean. It's not actually meant for anyone to actually find.
What it says.
I had a home on a manor overlooking the sea.
Alright, see.
When skies turned dark, the house was taken by the sea, cast down to the seabed with all the other forgotten things.
All spoken as we see images of the ocean, but also really take in what this video's saying. The speaker had a home that sat beside the sea, but it collapsed into it and sank to the bottom.
Whatever that means.
This is clearly a metaphor. We're not talking about houses and oceans, we're talking
home that was broken and swallowed by the sea. Honestly, I know I was mentioning like the Lovecraft shit, but this sounds a lot like Cthulhu's Temple of Ryla that was actually consumed by the sea at some point, it really does sound a lot like that. And suddenly people start getting these really horrifying nightmares and shit that Cthulhu is invading their subconscious, right? It does sound a lot like it.
Talking about the world and the backrooms and async experiments making the world more and more unstable. Remember when I called out the last shot of overflow? After the green light flares up and
I'm not gonna say it again, don't worry, chat.
Something from the backrooms is sent back.
But you should definitely watch Overflow if you get the chance, Matt Pet.
Back in time to here, we see the sky reflected at the earliest possible point in our timeline without any other async experiments that we know of. But afterwards, we get more and more of that reflected imagery in I Remember as async continues their experiments. This is even reflected in another line from I Remember.
But I remember fleeting shells sinking ever slowly, folding downwards into themselves, forever tearing along the seams of the sky until nothing remains except the eternal ghost.
Yo, crazy. So what it really kind of is looking like is, let's say the world is built, right? The world is a matrix. It exists as a matrix. We're living in a simulation, okay? The heights of the sky and the depths of the sea are not actually parts of the map that we'll ever fully cover, okay? We'll never actually cover it. Therefore, that content doesn't actually need to be finished. Whether you're lost in the sea or lost in space, it doesn't matter. It's just gonna be an endless loop of some sort. And since none of that will ever be fully explored, that's the end of the map. Who fucking cares if the devs actually finished it if you're never gonna go there? Right? Now, that's actually kind of cool, right? So the Backrooms is kind of like the depths of the sea. It's content that really isn't finished because it's not like anyone's actually gonna get there.
Reflections?
Until they do.
Those are the seams along the sky. The tears in reality as everything starts to fall apart. This might have even happened.
I don't know. It's a waste of time to load all that dead space, right?
Before, in a previous reality or simulation of our world. In found footage number 2, we see parts of a home inside the backrooms as the girl explores the area.
You're gonna say that parts of the home is actually the house by the sea that was swallowed by the sea? I don't know. I feel like anything that you just drop into the sea or launch into space would just lead you into this backrooms. Why load a map like that constantly when no one's actually going there? Why are there no aliens? Because the devs never finished the fucking map that far. The lore for this universe is only built until space. And once you get to space, everything exists, but it only exists as basic imagery.
Including this part here with a strange banister and railway in front of an empty room. Here's the thing. This is almost identical to a room that we see in the secret Home 27647 video. Notice the unique bars.
Yo, that is the same banister. That has no question.
On the railing, the way there's an open air entrance in the room behind it and a door off the right wall. This is the same architecture, but one is in the back rooms and one is in our real world.
Because guess what? Everything that's in the real world is just something that was in the backrooms once until the devs completed it and actually loaded it into the fucking canon. Yeah! And again, if in the backrooms time is all a joke, because time only exists in the real world because we don't need time to exist in the backrooms, it's cut content anyway. So we can obviously have something here that was built before it was loaded in and completed.
Want more proof? The girl takes a prolonged look at this painting before the bacteria monster wakes up and starts chasing her. And in the secret video, we again get a prolonged look at that very same painting in the home.
That's the same painting! Actual chills. Actual chills!
Remember, based on the TV we see here, this video was likely taken in the 2000s, several years before Found Footage 2 takes place. So how could these details be in the backrooms now? Is it another time loop situation? Maybe. Or maybe it's because these are from previous iterations of our world.
Okay, interesting. I was looking at it from a different perspective. Maybe it's not previous iterations of our world, it's just, it is our world just before it was actually completed. All of reality had to have existed at some point in a backrooms-like space before the devs actually decided to make it canon.
The simulation that was destabilized and collapsed into the backrooms. In other words, the house that fell into the sea.
Really interesting. But I think that there's two ways to look at it. From our perspective, because we are living in a matrix, to us it looks like it's a house that fell into the sea. However, in reality, from like an objective perspective, as an onlooker outside of the matrix, the house was already in the sea. It was pulled out of the sea to exist in reality, but the fragments of the house still exist in the sea because time is just a construct in this world. This is so cool. I cannot stop. I had no idea the Backrooms was so interesting. Who are the devs? That's the question. Maybe it's a more intelligent race. Maybe it's humans that decided that the world is too fucked up. Maybe it's God that decided to put us here for whatever reason. Who knows? Who knows? The scary part of a Matrix is you're in the Matrix. And there's no way you're gonna get out, bro.
There's a map shown in the Home 27647 video of the Ptolemaic system, a geocentric model of the universe that suggests that the Earth is the unmoving center of everything. And isn't it interesting that this very specific map that Kane chose to include in this video is very yellow? The last
It is very yellow!
line, and I remember, is
You have always been here.
You have always been here.
It fits so well, bro! You've always been here because inside of this system, time has just been a construct created by the devs. Whoever the dev is, whether it's Mort from Madagascar or it's God. The devs created this as a timeless system because they are above the time that exists within this reality. So you have always been here. Time is only something that exists because we live in four-dimensional space. But this entire four-dimensional space was only created by some higher power. To them, they're in some fifth dimension.
Everything revolves around the Backrooms, whether it be in a time loop or a simulation or both. It's the center of everything in the...
Interesting. I don't... Again, this is, I guess, always up to a question of perspective, but it kind of seems like it's not that the Backrooms is the center of reality. The Earth is the center of reality because the Earth is the canon of this Matrix. It seems like the Backrooms and all that stuff is all the dev rooms. The infinite content that didn't actually make it into this game.
World, and async's meddling has doomed the world to collapse into the Backrooms once again.
It's so funny. I kind of see this as like a complete inverse, where the Earth, just like in the Ptolemaic system, the Earth is the center. This is the Earth. It's the center of the universe in this system. So just like how in the Ptolemaic system, the Earth is the center, I would venture to theorize that in this story of the Backrooms, the Earth is the center of this simulation because Earth is the main character. Everything else is just it's little obstacles and filler that the devs put in to make the Earth content seem more interesting. The Backrooms is the endless unused content that the devs actually needed to put into it and then eventually create shit in there and then load it into the canon. However, everything that's actually been going on in the Backrooms, it doesn't need to exist within time. What they did in async by fucking around with electromagnetic fields and shit, what they did was they broke openings in the fabric of reality to have the Backrooms leaking in and vice versa at different intervals of space and time, because the Backrooms is like the dark matter. It's like what cannot exist in our universe. A timeless, endless pit of content created by some sort of god or developer or whoever.
On the Backrooms, whether it be in a time loop or a simulation or...
It's like a fifth dimension that as human beings in this Matrix, we could not access. We can only exist and comprehend four dimensions, the 3 dimensions of space and the dimension of time. The Backrooms is some sort of fifth dimension that is somehow crashing into ours because of the weird seismic electromagnetic thingamajig.
Both. It's the center of everything in the world, and async's meddling has doomed the world to collapse into the Backrooms once again, the house to fall back into the sea once again. You have always been here. In this series, in this world, the Backrooms has always been a part of it. We're just...
I think for sure. The Backrooms, you have always been here because the Backrooms is the timeless content. It's the fifth dimension. The Backrooms is a place that lives above time.
The layer on top waiting to collapse down into it. And laying out the story Kane's trying to tell here, doesn't feel like our world has that much time left.
Time is cyclical. Time is just an illusion.
But hey, that's just a theory. A film theory.
That was a great video. Really great video. Really good analysis.
And cuts.
Well, that was the full-ass 100% blind lore dive into the Backrooms. I love that it leaves a lot up to interpretation. I do like my interpretation. I like yours, Matt Pat, and I like your explanations and all that shit. And again, take mine with as many grains of salt as you possibly can because, you know, I didn't consume this and overanalyze every bit of that media. I'm just getting the lore dive here. But from my perspective, it kind of seems like the Earth by the Ptolemaic system, center of the universe. It's the canon in this matrix. And the Backrooms is a 5th dimension that is somehow starting to seep into ours. And again, a 5th dimension by definition is something that exists above time, which is why you have all the time shenanigans, the endless hallways, the creepy goop monsters. It's not reality. The reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Buy. If you made it to the end, click one of these 2 videos, which also will definitely get me canceled. See you live on Kick. Stay weird, fam.